Hey guys, what's up? This is TeamDFDub. This is Jonathan here. Today's video is going to be just like a discussion video talking about a couple topics. We're probably going to start doing this, uploading these videos maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. And yeah, I filmed random dueling network videos just to kind of fill in the gap. I don't want you guys just watching like a blank screen or something. As you can see, my first hand isn't the best hand in the world. I'm playing Frog Monarchs, but it is what it is. And then, which I'll get to that, by the way. I'm going to talk about that. And then my opponent's playing Lightsworns. So yeah, it was supposed to be a match as well, but he quit out. So unfortunately, I mean, I still won, but I wanted to play the match to see, like if I side deck certain cards, how that would work. But anyway, so yeah, if you guys like the content, just remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and all that good stuff. So yeah, let's get right on into it. The main topic I wanted to talk about today was the being like the difference between being competitive and being overly aggressive. There's a fine line between being competitive and taking things too seriously, and being like overly aggressive or even a sore loser in some cases. I'm gonna disclaimer first of all. I'm guilty of this stuff too. I'm not pointing any fingers because we've all done it. We've had it to where if we lost, we got a little upset. I mean, it's fine. It's natural. I mean, if you are competitive, you are gonna get a little upset sometimes. But I mean, you shouldn't let that get to you, especially if you lose. Which I'm talking to myself too, because it's like I try to. I know I don't want to be a hypocrite, so that's why I'm saying I'm taking a step back, looking at the way I act too, and just I'm guilty of this too. So I'm just throwing that out there first. But yeah, the being competitive is fine. I mean, that's healthy for for the game itself. People don't join this game and don't spend a lot of money in this game or trade or whatever, but they don't build decks to lose. You build your deck to win, or you just build your deck to beat a certain deck, which that's still wanting to win. But yeah, you don't want to lose, but then again, if you lose, you shouldn't take it too seriously. I'll give you an example. Um, if you're at a YCS for a regional, and let's say you lose your first match of the day, that might get some people down, and it's happened to me too. It kind of sucks, but I mean, you can't let that bother you. Just think it's like, okay, if I'm gonna lose today, that's my only loss, and that's it. So you gotta have that positive outlook, because if you do think to yourself, wow, I lost the first round. I lost against, I don't even know. I lost against a tier 20 deck, which I don't even know what tier 20 is. I just made that up. But anyway, it's like if that happens to you, you can't let that get to you. Which I'll get to tier decks in a second. I'll talk about what I think about those. But yeah, and then being overly aggressive, like a sore loser. I will admit I've gotten upset before sometimes. Another example. I think I already told you guys this, but for those of you that are new to the channel, I really don't like when people blind space. And what I mean by blind space, if you don't know, is let's say you're playing Gravekeepers, you play a lot of traps. So if you set 5 cards and play Necro Valley, pass your turn, your opponent draws, and they Mystical Space Typhoon, you're set Starlight Road. That is pretty much the only thing in the game that I think is just kind of stupid. I mean, it's pure luck, but I mean it happens, so you can't do anything about it. But it seems to happen to me all the time. They just they MST my 1 Starlight out of my other, like the 5 back row I had. But yeah, that means I started maining 2 Starlight Roads just in case. But the point that I brought that up is because you can't let those things get to you, and yeah, it sucks and it's kind of upsetting, but you just got to get past it. And it's just one of those luck factors in the game. There's a lot of luck involved. If your opponent just happens to draw the right card every time, like they just respond to everything you do, like they always drop a max C, or they always Valor your card you need. I mean, it happens, and you just got to deal with it. But it's just there's a really fine line between being competitive and overly aggressive. And what I mean by aggressive is, if you have an aggressive playstyle, that's fine. If you play, if you special summon 5 monsters every turn, and you like pop everything on the field, that's being aggressive. That's fine. That's great. I mean, I'm starting to play like that. I used to be very defensively. I used to play mini traps, take it easy, summon one or two monsters a turn, if that, and then I would just, kind of I'd wait to respond to my opponent. I've had a change of mindset. For this format, I believe that being aggressive is actually better. But when I say overly aggressive, I mean when you lose, you throw a fit. You're like, oh well, if I would have had that card, I would have won, or just making excuses. And I'm guilty of it too. But I'm trying to say that it's really not healthy. Like it affects your judgment. Um, it does affect just how you play for the rest of the day if you're in a tournament or something. Just when you are competitive, you take the game seriously and you give it your all to win and do your best. That's when I think you're competitive. When you're overly aggressive or a sore loser, your frustration about losing or not drawing the right cards, it clouds your judgment and it just affects your future goals. So yeah, that's what I think about being competitive. And if people say that like you take the game too seriously, yeah, that might be true, but then again, if they're the ones always losing, they need to think about how they can help themselves do better in this game and not just blame people for taking the game too seriously. So yeah, just the next topic I'd like to talk about is what to take from a loss. This is kind of up to your own like decisions, but for me personally, when I lose, especially when I go to locals, I actually take like mental notes. Like last week, I versed or I went to locals and I versed prophecies. I lost against them, and then I looked at my side deck and I'm like, half these cards are not good against like any of the decks I versed today. What can I do to change my deck to help me out in future goals? You shouldn't. When you lose, you have to remember why you lost. Let's say you drew. If you play Frog Monarchs, for example, you drew like all frogs and no tribute monsters. Well, that means you need to, change your deck to what you need to add more tribute monsters. If you're playing, I don't even know. Let's just say you're playing Gravekeepers, and let's say you're running Allure of Darkness, but you don't like it because you have to remove your monsters that you don't want to. Well, then take out the Allure, add in like a Book of Moon or something, see if it works. You just gotta experiment. That's the whole point of this game, and I think that's the point of locals too, is preparing for regionals and YCSs if you go to those. I mean, obviously, locals are like to have fun. I don't look at a local as just like all business and nothing else. So yeah, that's what you should take from a loss. Just take notes. Decide what you can do to help your deck. I was gonna talk about top like tiers and all that, but I'm gonna save that for next week's video because I'm actually running out of time. But yeah. And then my last topic, just really quick, would be just, it's kind of generic and cheesy, but you should really try and help players out, especially people that are new to the game. I'm not saying just give them your whole collection or give them cards. I'm just saying, give them advice. If they ask you a question like, hey, what's this ruling? Just, try your best to help. And I'm trying to do the same too. Especially because it sucks that if a player says all their stuff was stolen, which has happened to me too. I've had over like $300 worth of stuff stolen at one locals. That's why I stopped going to that certain place. But yeah, it sucks, and it's really hard to rebuild, get back up to where you were. But I mean, you just have to do it. But yeah, that's what I mean by helping players out. Just not necessarily giving them stuff, but giving them advice. Trying your best to help them out. So yeah, next week's video I guess will be about tiers and like the future of this game, I guess you could say. So yeah, as you can see, my opponent quit, and yeah, it was about to get interesting. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. I appreciate your views, and we really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next video.